I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took an excuse. That's by Florence Nightingale. So, thank you for tuning in. And if you haven't been to my YouTube channel, I would love for you to go there, have some comments, and follow because the more people that are following especially on YouTube, the more they will share my episodes with new people. And I'm all about sharing and caring and supporting my guests as well. So that would be really appreciated. All right. Today I want to talk about how and when to tell people your pricing. Questions are always, do I put it on my website? Do I say it on the phone? People always lead with what's your price or how do you charge? And it's so easy to just say a price and then hope for the best. And the challenge with that is, first of all, if you haven't fully engaged them in the process, whatever that might be, to conclude that if you're in their price range, they would book you, that can be a problem and you can lose really great potential clients. The other thing is, if I answer those questions over and over again to people that reach out to me, what I'll be landing is a lot of price conscious clients that, are out there shopping and they're looking for the best value and not necessarily the best experience, the best quality, the relationship that I like to build with my clients, and so forth. So the my basic principle is if you are getting more leads than you can really follow up on, and a ton of them are not your clients that are price shoppers, then putting something about pricing on the website can simplify your life. One of my coaching clients has beautiful work and she puts her pricing on her site because she gets a lot of people inquiring and it takes up a lot of time. So with pricing, at least she knows people are uh, potentially already understanding the investment level. And she's not listing super cheap prices. She's not going into every package, every detail. Uh, my suggestion, if you put any pricing on, is not to put a lot of details because people want information. And if we give all the information they think they want, they won't contact us. So you want to leave them wanting more. So I choose not to put pricing on my website because I'm a high dollar, low volume business and I want them to love my work, love the branding, start to feel like I might be right for them and contact me so that I can take them on a journey where I'm getting to know them. I'm finding out what they love. We're building a relationship. I'm sharing how I work. And then they get excited. And then when I give them an initial minimum potential investment and ask if that's in their budget, they're they're ready to either say, "Whoa, yeah, no, I love the idea of what you're offering, but it's not workable for me," or they'll say, "Sure." And then I say, so the next step is to get together for a no obligation consultation. We'll chat more about what you're looking for. We'll see more of my work, and then we'll go over pricing in detail. So, let's see. So, here's a little example of um, different ways to answer questions. So, it's the red dress story. So, let's pretend I'm looking for a red dress and it's for a very special occasion. So, first phone call, ring, ring, ring. Hello, this is Dresses R Us. Can I help you? Yes, I'm looking for a red dress. Oh, sure, we have lots of red dresses. Um, well, can you tell me the pricing? Oh, we start at about $19. Um, we have some new things in that are higher than that. If you go to our website, we've got some of the sale things there. Um, and I'm sure we'll find something in your price. Okay, so what do I do next? Well, this is the sales clerk. Just come on in and look around, go through the racks. We have dressing rooms, and you can just try on everything you want. And I imagine you'll find something you like. All right, thank you. Click. Okay, so this was all about money. This salesperson probably didn't even have time to start asking what kind of dress. Definitely wasn't going to go have a consultation or pick some dresses they might like. This is, in my mind, this is a dress shop that is a higher volume that maybe does really well, but is very different from the second example. So here's the second example. Ring, ring, ring. Hello, this is Dresses by Suzanne. How can I help you? Me. I'm looking for a red dress and I'm wondering about your prices. Oh, that's so um, awesome to have you call. Is this a special occasion? Why, yes, I'll be getting my master craftsman degree at a photography convention in a few months, and I look great in red. So I'm looking for something special. The person on the phone, oh my gosh, you're a photographer, so I'm sure that you'll want something that is very flattering, that you feel great in, that you get lots of compliments. Um, how did you get this award? Uh, what did you do to earn this? Oh, well, it's through the quality of my work and also teaching and supporting and attending conferences and such. And it's a really big deal. I'm so proud that I'm earning this. Salesperson, wow, I can hear how proud you uh, you are. So I'd love to tell you about how we work. Uh, we give you lots of personalized service. So the first thing you do is come in. You want to set up a consultation, and I'll ask you some things about your size and your shape, and if you have a vision for a dress, and I'll pull some dresses. And you also need to know that if you love a dress, but it's not currently in red, we can order it. How does that sound? That sounds fabulous. Um, what's the pricing? Well, most people invest a minimum of 2 to 300 for um, the dress. It can go up from there, depending on fabric and uh, any accessories, lace, and so forth. But and that maybe even a little lower, but in that 2 to 300, does that fit within your budget? Sure, I expected that this would be something I'm willing to spend a little extra on. Great. So let's set up that appointment. I'm going to send you a questionnaire so you can give me some more details. And when you come in, we'll be ready for you. So great. Thank you. Bling. All right. So, what the lady at the fancy dress shop that's more expensive did was find out more about me, about the occasion, actually care about me and why I want that, and then share with me that this is something that is not just a quick come on in, do your thing, pick what you like, check out. So that is the approach that I have, that if um, if I don't have my pricing, then and I'm reaching for that client that will, maybe they don't even know that they want this much personal service, but once we start talking, then they kind of get in my world and they discover that what I offer is perhaps way more wonderful than what they had in mind or anything they've done before. Um, so the the line that I use on the phone that is from Charles Lewis, that has over my decades in the business has really worked well, is this. After I find out about them, I get them excited to work with me. Then I say most people invest a minimum of, and I keep it in a moderate range. I find that 5 to 700 is is a little too high for the bargain person, but doesn't chase off someone that could easily invest 5,000 or $10,000. So most people invest a minimum of, let's say, 5 to 700. I'll just go with that. And that might get you something nice for your home and a few small ones to share with family or take to the office. Does that fit within your budget? And they'll usually say yes or no, or what does that include? And that's where then I say, well, the next step is to set up a time when we can get together. I can learn more about you and your family or your event and give you a more detailed pricing of what you might actually want. And I'll send you home with all of that. Um, so, how does that sound? Do you want to go ahead and set up that appointment? Um, Now, if I was higher volume and I didn't want to have consultations, uh, you know, I'm just like in and out. It's this much money. Maybe I give you all the digitals. Then I might be more forthcoming with pricing on the phone so that the people that come in are already ready to spend the amount of money that I require to work. Hmm. Okay, so my brain feels a little scrambled, but I hope I hope I've made that clear that you don't have to answer the question, how much are you, with the answer. The first thing I do is start to ask questions myself. If I get an email, this is always, what do you do with an email on pricing? If I get an email that says, what is your pricing? I send an email back that says, oh my gosh, thank you so much for reaching out. Um, I'd love to know more about what you're interested in having me do for you. Or if they've already told me, then I might say, oh my gosh, uh, photographing 2-year-olds is one of my favorite and most challenging kinds of sessions that uh, have me chasing kids around and coming up with images that I never thought of before. So the first step is for us to talk on the phone, and I can learn more about what you're looking for. I can share with you about how I work, and then I'll give you an idea of, with this in mind, what you might expect to invest. So that's, I never ever answer, because of my business model, I never answer that pricing question with an answer about pricing. If I were high volume and it were important to um, let them know pricing before I even talk to them, or even if I don't talk to them and I just send them a link to book, then the answer would be different. So I hope this is making sense. I feel like I'm kind of throwing a lot of things at you and seeing what sticks, but Basically, the answer to the question, what do I say when they ask about pricing, is it depends. And it depends on if you, first of all, if you want to be a photographer whose pricing is uh, one that is on the lower side so that the people that are price conscious will book you. And so you're competing with other photographers who also put their pricing on that someone can compare. That's fine. If you are someone that is looking for that investment level client, then having a clear strategy and having a pricing model that is easy to understand and that ultimately uh, reaches your goal of happy clients who order well and give you big money, then that strategy is different. All right. Oh, I forgot. So I wanted to tell you that there's four types of people. And imagine a square, and one side says afford, and the other says wants it. So there are people who can afford what you offer and they would love it. There are people who can afford what you offer, but they're not interested in it. There's people who would love what you do, but they honestly cannot afford it. And people that don't like it, don't care, don't want it, can't afford it. So my goal is always to reach those people who would love what I do. I need to make sure they understand what I do and that I'm in their budget. Now, honestly, I've been in that position. I don't know about you, but where I had a certain budget. And then once I discovered what is available and what the price is for what I really, really want now that I know what's available, I've found a way to budget more. Um, so um, don't think that a set amount in somebody's mind of how much they want to spend is the only thing. All right, so I want to give you just a quick strategy for how to set your prices. So think about just kind of a starting point of how much you want to earn in a year. So let's say it's $50,000 take home. So then you want to at least double that. If you've got your cost of goods and everything fairly moderate, then you might be able to keep 50% of every dollar after you pay taxes, after you invest in new equipment, insurance, cost of goods, all the things that go into running a business that you wouldn't have to pay if you didn't have a business. Um, you might be able to keep half. All right, so then think about you could go either direction, but if you start with how many clients do I want to have in a year and can get if I'm going to charge $500 instead of ultimately 1,000, then I need twice the amount of clients. So if I'm doing, let's say, a shoot and share digital format where I'm going to do the session, I'm going to give them, we'll just say 25 of the best digital images out the door, done, and I want to bring in $100,000 so that I can earn 50, then I need 200 clients a year. So that would be for a month and with the 2 week vacation. If I want to earn 5,000 per client, what's the quick math on that? Um, I'm not going to stop and do the math, but it might be 25 clients, somewhere around there, 30 clients. And so for 5,000, I might set myself up so that I can easily sell 3 wall portraits maybe a small collection of 5x7s, and perhaps a moderate book. So that is a way to think about pricing. You want to go with the end in mind. All right, let me check my notes, see if there's something else I wanted to cover today. I'm gonna pause. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to mention is about raising your prices. And this was a tip that I received when I was a wedding photographer uh, over lunch at a 5-day conference with photographers. So what he said to me is, when you are as booked as you want and you're getting a steady flow, then raise your prices 10 to 15%. And what will happen is the lower end people will drop out, but you'll make the same dollar amount for the clients you have. And then you'll have extra time, or then you can do more marketing and more, um, just spiffing up your sales and those kinds of things. And his suggestion with weddings, this worked really well because weddings have cycles, is to do it every 6 months. Uh, and so I never made a big leap. I did a stepping stone. And as my work got better and everything else about my business got better, um, I got to the higher end pricing. But then I hit a plateau where I couldn't go any further. I couldn't book people at that next level. Um, so I pulled back. What I could have done is have a full analysis of my business and figure out what I need to do to reach that higher end client, improve my branding, polish up my sales ability, uh, several kinds of things. A colleague of mine, while let's say $5,000 was sort of a cap for most of us in San Diego, he invented a whole new style of wedding photography where he did all black and white. He chose 24, he put them in a big book, and the starting price was $6,500. And his work was not like, oh my gosh, award winning, but his branding, his location, his studio, he had like ginormous wall portraits in black and white on the walls in this studio in a perfect location. His his papers, how he dressed, how he designed his booth at the bridal show, all of that was like something entirely, completely new for the time and in my community. So he was able to have an eight to $10,000 average because, of course, he set up so that people would spend more than $6,500. So by reinventing almost, the industry in his own way, he created a niche that was all his. And he's still in business, and I haven't been doing wedding photography for many decades. So I think that is what I have for today. And I hope there's some clear as mud insights here. Oh, one last thing. I told this story a lot, but not lately on the podcast. So, my ideal clients would probably not want me if I was too cheap. Uh, they feel good. People like to spend money, believe it or not. At least my ideal clients, either they enjoy it or they're fine with it. So, the story of my jacket made in France. So, I was on vacation in Santa Fe, and there was this little boutique next to my hotel, and I put on this teal green jacket with a beautiful lace collar and a little peplum waist, and I looked incredible in it. And it was $300. And at the time, I had never even spent $100 on anything, even a coat. Um, and I don't care about shoes, so I didn't invest in shoes. And I went back there every day and tried it on again. And then the last day that I was there, I I went back and I was like, I'm just going to buy this because I know when I go home, I'll be calling them up and saying, ship it to me because I was in love with it. And every time I wore it, I got compliments and I felt so great. And I got to say, yes, I bought it at this beautiful little boutique in Santa Fe. And, um, it was a treasure. It was a wonderful item and it was well worth stretching my budget. $300, I never missed it. It wasn't like I wouldn't have food on the table or pay my rent. And what I realized is, if they had said, well, we just marked it down 50%, good thing you stopped in today, I wouldn't have valued it as much. And when people complimented me, if I said yes and I got it 50% off, it devalued, it would devalue that item. Or if I saw it at Marshall's and there was a sticker that said regular price 300, today $69, again, I wouldn't have felt as wonderful. So when we are pricing in a way that's um, a little bit of a stretch for people, we're actually helping them love what they receive from us more. So that's it for now. And I hope you're having an awesome week. And remember to keep listening. Send me notes that tell me what you like. And if you've got any guests you want to suggest to me, you can just email me, Luci at lucidumas.com. Lucy with an I. That's it. Bye.